The ability to communicate effectively with your dog comes with tremendous benefits, not the least of which is a more effective outcome to your training. When your dog understands what you want from him, his overall behavior will become more consistent and reliable. But good communication skills also lead to more satisfying, meaningful relationships, and our relationships with our dogs are no exception. Sometimes communication with other human beings can be tricky, and we speak the same language. It takes time, effort, and TLC to build a foundation of trust and communication in our human relationships. Dogs give us an extra challenge. Try as they might, most dogs and humans struggle to communicate with one another. Now, dogs can learn to associate our cue words or gestures with actions such as sit or come, and they do try really hard to figure us out. But if our communication is not clear or consistent, you and your dog are both going to end up frustrated. Many dogs are inaccurately described as stubborn, when really she's just confused as to what you want from her. Some dogs will play the guessing game, offering all kinds of incorrect behaviors in the hopes of landing on the right one. Often, a dog gets punished for this, and eventually he'll give up and refuse to do anything at all. Other dogs will simply start ignoring you because in her eyes, you're not making any sense. So, there are two important things to remember when it comes to improving your communication with your canine. And the first thing is to be clear. The second thing is to be consistent, but we'll get to that in a minute. By clarity, I don't mean enunciating clearly, although that doesn't hurt. What I mean is that you need to show your dog what it is you want her to do. There are lots of ways you can do this. Luring your dog with treats is one way. Using your body language to guide your dog is another way. And physical placement, such as applying pressure to your dog's rump to move her into a sit, is another often used tactic. Notice that none of these methods involves actually talking to your dog. Humans are verbal communicators, but dogs rely mostly on nonverbal cues and body language to communicate. Keep this in mind when you're training your dog. Give your dog plenty of feedback and let her know when she's doing something correctly. And don't be afraid to be an enthusiastic teacher. And once she understands a cue or signal, be sure to communicate those cues clearly to your dog. In short, clear communication is going to give you better results to your training. Now, the second thing to remember is to be consistent. You need to be consistent in a couple of different ways. First, cues should sound and look the same every time, especially when your pup is just starting to learn a new cue. If you say tomato and I say tomato, your dog is going to be confused and his responses will be equally inconsistent. The same goes for hand signals. Be consistent. It's not fair to make your dog guess. Your expectations when you give a command should also be consistent. For example, say you tell your dog sit and she lays down instead. This is an incorrect response, but many people feel this is good enough and don't correct their dog's mistake. They may even reward their dog. Not only will this give you an unreliable sit, but when you don't mean what you say, you're really diminishing the value of your own words. And depending on your dog's personality, you might end up with a dog who learns how to take advantage of you. It's your job to clarify and correct your dog's responses. Don't cut corners just because it's easier. Just as a good coach will help you correct your shooting form, give your dog the guidance and feedback he needs to improve his game. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for future videos.